Dearest, beloved, divine friends and family, brothers and sisters, your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Ocean Khan here, somewhere all alone in the world. A few of my friends and brothers in Guyana, the Caribbean, the diaspora. May the universal greetings of God Almighty. As a creationist, I believe in God, be with one and all around the world, especially in my beautiful tropical paradise of Guyana. Friends and families, yesterday you might have noticed I did an introduction on my words, my vision, my thoughts. And today I wish to continue on the book a little bit. A lot of people are interested in it. So I wish to now do the part that was done by no other than Samuel Archibald Hinds, former President, Prime Minister, and Home Affairs Minister of Guyana, and patriot par excellence, a man of scholarship, wisdom, and leadership. So he wrote for me a tribute in this book, and I want to, at this juncture, give you that tribute. And he writes, as I read, "It is an honor and a privilege for me to contribute a commendation and message in this publication of Haji Roshan Khan entitled My Words, My Vision, My Thoughts." We're not saying doctor here because that came after this book would have been edited. So I have gotten to know Haji Roshan Khan after becoming a member of government after elections in October 1992. Since then, the Haji and I have been meeting at a number of social occasions and events in our country. Haji Roshan Khan is very much a self-made man. Coming to Georgetown in 1978 from the humble home village Karivutan in the county of Berbice, and in the course of finding his feet at one time, having nothing but his faithful motorcycle, by dint of hard work, insightful resilience, entrepreneurship, perseverance, courage, and belief in himself, he created RK Group of companies, starting with his offering of the small security services. Haji Roshan Khan has employed and developed hundreds of men and women who very much wanted jobs to bring some predictability to their lives and a sense of participation, service, fulfillment, and pride. I, as someone who recognizes that the small is beautiful approach contains great merit for our people and country at this stage of our development. Welcomed Haji Roshan Khan's introduction of an RK's EcoStar motorcycle three-wheeler business. For small base transportation units, which are common in South Asian countries, such units which present a small capital step from transportation by foot and bicycle, have been immensely popular in Asian countries, but also encountering a high cultural hurdle in developing countries and communities elsewhere. If I may comment, we had some difficulties here, and I decided to just import and do it, force the hand of the government. The then President, Dr. Barjak Dave, thought we would create a clutter on our roads, but our roads are already cluttered. This will just help the small man to become the real man, a poor man, a simple man, or woman who could achieve great success and earn money and have independence and pay taxes to a nation. but are now gaining increasing acceptance across Africa. I want to take this opportunity to encourage Haji Roshan Khan to persist in making such equipment available in the Guyana marketplace. Well, the vehicles have now become quite a popular mode of transportation and business for many, ladies and gentlemen. Back to his article. Haji Roshan Khan may well be someone who has realized that one should do well, be profitable and successful, and so have a base to do good. He has not been standing apart from the moral, religious, and socio-political issues in our country. Growing up and living in our multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural Guyana, we all would have sensed our multitude of differences and the challenges we face in the huge potential for contradictions and discord. My earliest impression of Haji Roshan Khan is that he might have been a person who was leaning towards the stricter observance of his religious persuasion, Islam, its traditional customs and practices, and cautious in relationship with other religions. My impression is that over the years, Haji, and I turn the page, Roshan Khan, whilst staying truth to his faith, has moved towards a greater sense of a common humanity, which gives him greater comfort in working with other persons of other faiths. Thus, we've seen him increasingly active in the Guyana Interreligious Organization and the Universal Peace Federation, Ambassador of Peace within Guyana and throughout the world. The life of Haji Roshan Khan ought to be taken as a challenge by our younger generations and our older generations too. We ought not to give up on anyone once she still has a breath in the body. An ongoing challenge each day to be the best Guyanese and human that we could be. I want to encourage our younger generations and older ones too to keep the faith that we can individually and together work and create a better day for our country and our fellow citizens. I share the view that humans are most important, being both the creators and the beneficiaries of the good and the bad of whatever we do. The life we live manifests the degree and nature of our success or lack thereof in producing desired goods and services and sharing directly and indirectly with each other. So you know this is in the raw, right, ladies and gentlemen? You, our younger generations of our future, are inheriting the disappointment which has been often expressed, and rightly so, about the comparatively little success that we Guyanese have had since the prospect of independence materialized in our view. My own known strong political position notwithstanding, we need not tarry in determining and apportioning blame. Suffice it to contemplate that in the fascination of our description as a land of six peoples, we took our motto as a fact rather than an aspiration, which would demand much more from each of us than we would have imagined. Archibald Samuel Hinds, former president, speaks and writes in my book, my words, my vision, my thoughts. And the romantic but mistaken view that we longingly grasp of our country, about our country being a land of abundant, rich natural resources, has been a source of great frustration and misdirection. History has been on the side of people who know and accept that they must work hard and earnestly to make their living, our small population, hardly ever 1 million in a Guyana of a similar area as England, put severe limitations on the sophistication and prosperity that we could achieve. So, while he is talking about me, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, Samuel Archibald Hinds, former President and Prime Minister, Minister of Home Affairs of Guyana, is also a thinking man, a philosopher of unity and goodwill of his own right. And that is why I look up to this gentleman so highly. And if you know, in the political scheme of things and the role he played in politics in Guyana, he has never been an antagonist, nor a hater, nor a racist or ethnic person with a priority and prejudice for or against any. And that is why he is one of my national heroes. Back to the article as we are approaching the end, ladies and gentlemen. In this regard, the small size of the West Indian island countries give them a population density that holds much better prospects of approaching the prosperity levels of developed countries. He's saying because they're smaller islands with bigger populations. Technically, he's saying we with a bigger country and a smaller population. With this in mind, I have to make a commentary to the government on Brazil, and those of you who see it, to tell the president and the others to look what are my views on building a superhighway to Brazil. I'll comment on that before I close, ladies and gentlemen. One way or another, we have to be partnering and sharing with the people of the world, developing a greater sense of common humanity, getting beyond our history and legacy of slavery and indentureship. We gotta remember, he who does not remember the past is bound to repeat it, but we must get off of that and move forward and use that experience as an impetus for greatness, ladies and gentlemen. Back to Mr. Hinds. There are indications that we can do so successfully. In perhaps every major city around the world, you are likely to find a Guyanese who has made it whole. But remember, most of our people go and they become positive members of that country, that society, and contributed greatly to them. This is the strength and the power of the Guyanese. We should not be fearful of becoming one with the world and good for the world. As many good books say, it is good to receive and it is good to give. And it is better to be giving more than we receive. What a philosopher. Thank you, Mr. Samuel Hinds. And the last paragraph, I encourage the reading of this publication of Haji Roshan Khan, which memorializes his words, visions and thoughts. To this time, Haji still has a number of decades before him, and we can look forward to a number of future publications from him as he continues his journey of life. And a little bit about Samuel Archibald Hinds. He was Prime Minister of Guyana almost continuously from 1992 to 2015, and also served as President of Guyana in 1997. He was awarded Guyana's highest national award, the Order of Excellence. And if I may say so, ladies and gentlemen, most deservedly. At this juncture, I wish to make a comment, friends and families, that yes, I agree with him, we have to open up to the world. But we have to be careful who comes into our country. There are some countries with what we call humongous population. A single city of those countries, for example, Brazil, could wipe us out as a people. And the criminality, which includes the most notorious of crimes, which I don't want to mention here. Many of them will find their way here to Guyana. We already have many of them as pirates stealing our gold, involved in criminality, in prostitution, in moral decadence. And yes, there are many who are positive, good, elegant, but with a population, I think they're about 122 million plus people in Brazil, ladies and gentlemen. They have cities of criminalities, poverty that have driven people to even recode their DNA into criminality. So the children, the offspring that they produce becomes criminals. Do we want those people by the hundreds of thousands and maybe the millions to come and destroy and wipe us out as a people? Will our security forces ever be able to handle them? And now that we can visit each other country without a visa makes it even worse. The government of Guyana ambitiously is announcing they want to build a superhighway between Guyana and Brazil. While that will be good and may look attractive economically, it is something that could wipe our country off. It would artificially take up prices of properties and lands, and these are a people who are known to squat tremendously as they're squatting in our interior locations, stealing our gold. They even found one of the biggest diamond ever, and they took it to Brazil, which was which was seized in Brazil. Because of their laws, they don't give it back where it comes from. And so they're involved in all kinds of gold smuggling and theft from our interior. Ladies and gentlemen, we must open up government of Guyana, President Dr. Irfan Ali. We don't need a superhighway. We don't need a superhighway, and we need to have strict control of the population while we open up to bring in people that are positive and good from countries like the good countries in Africa, in Bangladesh and India. And we will have to vet all of them to ensure they're not coming with criminalities in them. And when they come to Guyana, they have to come to work, not business, unless it's a big corporation, ladies and gentlemen. And to the government, I'm saying to them, even when these people are coming to open businesses, they need to partner with Guyanese. I repeat, they need to partner with Guyanese so that they don't come and take all our lands and our waters and our resources and they own everything forever. And everything should be for a time period. Say 25, 30, 40, even 50 years. The land still belongs to us. And these oil companies coming in, they must never be allowed to build their own headquarters. They must partner with the Guyanese or have a Guyanese build it to their suitability and rent it from them. Like other countries, these oil companies must not be able to own our lands. And these industries should have us, by law of Guyana, build the buildings and rent to them. Whatever happens, the land still stays as our property. Friends and families, I am a lover and patriot of my country and my people. And yes, I believe in opening up. But we cannot open with a concept of destroying our environment, our jungles, our interior, which is our true wealth, and destroying nature. We have to conserve on our forests because every time we cut down trees by the millions, ladies and gentlemen, friends and families, and we don't replant immediately, we are creating a situation for storms, lightning, hurricanes. The purification of our water will be eliminated. We have to be careful how we encourage emigration into Guyana. We need it, but they must come as workers. Not one nation coming just to do business, like what we saw the whole Regent Street and the whole Water Street wiped out. They must come to work for 5 years or 7 years, like in the United States. And then they can be considered for permanent residence and maybe citizenship in time. And when they come, they can eventually group up and go onto their own, but we don't give them houses. Like the hospitals, if we have to bring in nurses or doctors, or a factory, like what Barama did. They had a staff quarters, strictly for staff, 2, 3, or 4 could share one room. And as they start to work, let us say we bring some from from Ghana, Africa, or Bangladesh, or India, or Philippines. You give them quarters to live in, and then later on as they work and they build their money, they can pool resources together with their colleagues, and then they can go and rent a flat. We must not take that responsibility. I hope the government will listen to this, and those of you who are with government will share it to the right personalities. I will try to get it to them, and I will also put this in a letter format in the newspaper and in the media. Friends and family, me, your brother, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan, giving you my thoughts, my wisdom, and saying thank you to former President and Prime Minister Samuel Archibald Hinds for his beautiful writing, commending me, recognizing me, but also most important, speaking about the philosophy of unity, goodwill, harmony, and love of our people, to build truly what is the motto of Guyana, of one people, one nation, one destiny, and which is the motto of the Universal Peace Federation, one human family under God. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan, saying thank you for tuning in and spending your time with me to listen to my thoughts. And please share this with friends and families that you may have around the world. And I say farewell, friends.